Hey guys, it's Bart Johnson here. I have a great video to share with you guys today. As I'm always looking to improve my quality of work and add new camera movement to my productions, I've started investing in stuff like gimbals and cranes and all sorts of other systems, which have been great, but also lead to some new challenges. And the main challenge that I've been dealing with is how to operate focus while I have my camera basically inaccessible, either on a gimbal, up on a crane, or tucked away somewhere else where I can't physically operate or touch the lens to pull focus. So of course the solution to that is a wireless follow focus system. Now there's lots of wireless follow focus systems available out there, and they range greatly in price. There are some high-end professional units that'll run upwards of $10,000. There are some units that are in the $5,000 to $2,000 range that are a little bit more affordable, but are definitely still very professional. And then there's some of the newer stuff that's coming out on Kickstarter. There's some stuff like Handheld and some other stuff like that that are a little bit, in the lower price range, but may not have, not be as reliable or have the same functionality as some of the pricier units. So I wanted to take a look and see what was out there and try out a wireless follow focus system and see how it worked for me. So I got in touch with my friends over at Redrock Micro because I was interested in checking out their wireless microRemote follow focus system. And they were gracious enough to send me over some loaner units to go ahead and take a look at. And what this system is it's a highly expandable and customizable system, but at the core of it is a motorized follow focus system that you can control wirelessly or even directly. And it really just has been blowing me away with how versatile it is and how well it works for what I needed it for. So let me tell you a little bit about what I've been checking out from Redrock. Now, like I said, the Redrock system is comprised of many different components, and I've had the chance to test out several of them, but let me go through what I've been looking at. The first piece is the microRemote base station. This is the central hub, or brain as I like to call it, of the microRemote system. This is where all of the digital controllers are, and it has connection ports for you to connect your motor, some direct control peripherals, and even some start-stop control cables for camera control if it's available. This is a system that you're going to mount directly onto your camera rig, and it can connect to a wireless handheld unit, or like I said, to a direct controller option as well. The next obvious part of the system is the torque motor. This is literally the motor that drives the lens gear on your camera lens and allows you to pull focus. It's compatible with 0.8 pitch gears, which is most standard cinema lenses, and if you have lenses that do not have gearing built in like cinema lenses, maybe you have DSLR lenses, you can add some Redrock Micro focus rings and it'll give you that 0.8 pitch so that this gear will work. Now this is a very powerful high torque motor. It's capable of smoothly driving, like I said, smaller DSLR lenses all the way up to really heavy, really stiff cinema lenses. So it's extremely versatile and extremely powerful. The next part of the wireless system for the microRemote system is the wireless handheld unit, and I actually have it right here. What this is it is the wireless controller that will wirelessly connect to the base station and will allow you to pull focus from a range up to a mile away. It also will allow you, if you do have direct control plugged in for a run-stop cable for your camera, you can start and stop the camera recording from here. And it has all sorts of different features that you would want in a professional system. It has adjustable hard stops, it has a rubberized grip, it has a marking disc where you can mark your focus points, and they even have the option of putting a small illuminated stick inside here so that you can illuminate the marking disc in darker environments. This is something that you would usually hand to your AC, and this would live with them the entire shoot. It allows them to stop the camera, allows them to pull focus, set focus marks, and every AC that I've handed this to use, they've been extremely happy with it and have really enjoyed the quality of it and just how reliable it really is. Now that we have all of these different components that make up the core of the microRemote wireless system, we obviously have to connect everything together. Well, Redrock Micro has several sets of cables that they have released, and they're called their flex cables. They're very lightweight, very flexible cables, as the name suggests, and they use professional LEMO connectors to connect all these various parts of your rig together. So connecting the base station to the motor, connecting any of your other accessories. Now, they specifically sent me over a pack that is designed specifically for the DJI Ronin gimbal. That means that all of these flex cables are at predetermined lengths that are perfect for working on my DJI Ronin. They also make some standard kits, and they also make kits that are available for other gimbal systems, such as the popular FreeFly Movi systems. So these flex cables are of the highest quality, they're absolutely great, and it just makes everything a breeze to plug everything together, and you're off and shooting in no time. Now that we've covered what comes in sort of their basic microRemote wireless bundle, I want to get into some of the additional optional accessories that they also allowed me to try out. The first of which is the finger wheel. Now, this finger wheel attachment is perfect for a gimbal setup when you may be operating by yourself and don't have an AC to pull focus for you. It attaches onto the handle of my gimbal, and I can position it where I can comfortably reach it with my finger. Plug it into the base station directly, and I have control over the focus and the torque motor just by rolling my finger. So I'm able to pick up my gimbal system, set my focus with my finger, and I'm good to go. No messing around with guesstimating or maybe giving yourself a deeper depth of field to make sure that you can maintain focus. So the finger wheel is an awesome accessory, and it of course is also of the highest quality, full metal just like everything else, and it just works really, really well. Now, the final accessory that they shared with me to test out is something that I've never seen before and is really, really cool and really, really helpful. It's called their Universal Power Pack, and what it is it's a power distribution box that you can mount on, say, your gimbal system, as I did. And what it does is it allows you to tap into any D-tap power port. In my case, I used the 12-volt D-tap port on my Ronin, and it will distribute power to all of your accessories, including your microRemote system. So you can run everything off of the single Ronin, or if you have another gimbal system, off of that battery. So everything is powered off of a single source, so you're not worried about adding extra weight with extra batteries. You're not worried about keeping track of when individual batteries are going to die. Now, they have a lot of different things that you can power off of this. I use an Atomos Shogun for monitoring while I'm on my gimbal, and so they sent me over their connector that links directly into the D-tap dummy battery for the Atomos Shogun, and I'm able to power my Shogun monitor off of that system. So the Power Pack is a really versatile, and basically it's the heart of your power distribution on your system. Now, it doesn't have to be used just on gimbal systems and stuff like that. You could set this up on any shoulder rig or tripod rig where you're running off of V-mount or Anton Bauer power and you have a D-tap port. You can run all sorts of accessories off of the Power Pack. It's just so versatile, and it's really cool to have everything packed into one little box. I actually did a complete review of the Power Pack in a separate video, so I encourage you to go ahead and check that out if you want some more details on what that's capable of. Now that we've gone over all of the components that I've been testing out, let's talk about how easy they are to set up and get up and running. And really the answer is they're very easy. All you have to do is find the proper places to mount stuff, use the flex cables to connect everything. Everything's marked and is very easy to tell what goes where. And you can really get this thing up and running in just a matter of minutes, especially if it's something you've done it before. Even on my first try mounting it on my gimbal, I was able to get everything up and running, get the cables all cleaned up and looking pretty good and manageable in only about 30 minutes. So from out of the box to on my system in 30 minutes, not half bad at all. So this is an extremely easy system to put together, and the fact that it's so modular and expandable really lends to that and means that you can pick up additional accessories like the finger wheel or the power pack or anything like that, and you're able to just connect it to the right port and everything just works. There's something to be said about that, just the simplicity, because time is money, and when you're on set, if we need to get this up and running, it needs to get up and running quick. So the ease of setup, I was really impressed with. Once you have everything all set up and powered up, the first thing you're going to have to do every time you power it up is you need to map your lens. You're also going to need to do this, obviously, if you change lenses. The reason you need to map your lens is you need to let the system know where the ends are of your focus range on your lens. Like I said, this is an extremely high torque motor, so you want to make sure that it knows where the thresholds are of your lens so that you don't accidentally damage it. So there's two ways to do this. One is if you have a cinema lens or a lens with hard stops, they do have an automatic calibration system that will automatically find the ends of your lens and you're good to go. Now, if you're using something like a DSLR lens or another lens that does not have hard stops and will just spin and spin, they also have a manual calibration method where you can go in and select where your endpoints are of your focus range, and then you're off and running. The nice part about using this with something like a DSLR lens that might have a much shorter focus throw than a longer cinema lens is, even if it is a shorter throw, the microRemote system will automatically map that shorter throw distance to the entire range of the wireless unit, which means that on a full turn, you're actually getting much more control over where you are in the focus range. And this can be extremely helpful with DSLR lenses where you might go from 5 feet to 10 feet or something like that in the matter of just about a half an inch. That may turn into 2 inches on a turn and rotation of the dial. So that's amazing that it maps it to the full range and gives you such fine control. Now, once you're up and running with the system, everything is very smooth, very fluid, very responsive. Even with the wireless unit, there is 0 delay. You turn the dial on the handheld unit and the motor responds immediately. It's very precise. You're able to repeat focus perfectly. There's almost no drift or slippage. Everything just works the way it's supposed to. Another nice thing is that you can actually calibrate the stiffness versus power of the motor. It comes factory shipped at a default setting right in the middle of 5, where it's just about the perfect balance of smoothness versus power. So it can drive a decently stiff lens, but it's also very smooth and not jittery in its turning motions. But you can calibrate that. You can favor power if you have a very stiff lens, and it may sacrifice a little bit of the smoothness of the rotation. Or you can go to the other end. If you have a lens that's very easy to turn, you can sacrifice some of that power that you don't need and get really fine, really small movements without any jittering or stuttering. The motor is electronically encoded, everything is digital, so it's very precise, it's very repeatable, and it's very smooth. Now, one of the most important things a lot of people ask about when dealing with any sort of wireless system, whether it be a follow focus or wireless video or anything like that, is range. Now, it's listed that the range of this system is up to 1 mile line of sight. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to test a mile, but I did do several tests within my house and in some areas where I had many wireless signals, including wireless HDMI running at the same time. I had absolutely no problem getting far away from the unit. I had no problem running it several rooms away. I had no problem running it on a separate floor through concrete floor and concrete walls. I had absolutely no issues whatsoever. So I'm confident that you're going to have a reliable signal when working with this. Now, obviously, like anything, there could be some environments where you're working in where there may be an abundance of wireless signals streaming about. Maybe you're in a convention center or in a place where there's a lot of broadcasts going on, or maybe you're near an airport or something like that. Then you might run into some issues where you get some signal interference. However, you do have the option. There are multiple channel adjustments on both the base station and on the wireless handheld unit. So you're going to be able to go ahead and change from channel to channel and find the cleanest, most reliable channel for you. But again, I had absolutely no issues working in some high traffic wireless environments, and I never lost signal, never had any problem whatsoever. Now, I've touched on this a little bit already on some of the components, but I just wanted to talk about the overall build quality of everything. I'm holding the handheld unit right here, and it is heavy. It is professional, and you can tell. It is made entirely of metal. It's got some solid weight to it. It is not something that is going to get damaged. It is not something that is going to break. The marking disc is removable and holds on magnetically, which is fantastic. If you want to swap them or take care of it, it just pops right back into place as I am shifting my focus right now. It has a rubberized grip, so it's easy to grab onto, and just everything is of such high quality on it. The base station is also all metal, the torque motor all metal, the power pack all metal, everything using professional connections that are stable and secure. The flex cables are lightweight, yet you can tell extremely durable, flexible. Every single piece of this system is precisely machined, and the production quality is just fantastic. I've seen some cheaper systems out there and some DIY systems that may get the job done, but I would be very worried about them breaking and getting damaged and how reliable they would be. This system, I'm not worried about it at all. I think the production quality is some of the highest I've seen outside of those $10,000 plus systems that are out there. So now that I've gone through and told you all the numerous ways that I am absolutely in love with the microRemote system from Redrock Micro, I do want to put in a few points where I think they could improve a little bit upon it. First and foremost, for most of everyone out there who's watching this content, the price. This is probably going to be something where you're still going to scoff at the price a little bit. It is a professional system, so it is priced that way. You're looking at about $2,500 for just the core wireless bundle. Additional parts like the power pack will be another $500, the finger wheel about another $150. The flex cables for specific purposes will cost you some additional if you need a specialized cable for something. So the price can really add up. But as I said, this is something that's reliable, it's going to work, it's going to last, and it is professional. So when you compare it to some of those $10,000 and above priced units, this really is a fantastic deal for what you're getting and the amount of control. So price is something that some people may stop and may take a second look at, but I really think that they have priced this appropriately and probably even below what I would value this system at. Another possibility for an improvement in the future that I could see would be actually combining the torque motor and the receiver unit into one piece. There are some follow focus systems popping up out there that have this built in, where the motor and the receiver are all in a single unit, so you only have to mount one piece of equipment onto your rig. This means, less mounting, less cables, stuff like that might be a little bit cleaner. However, I can see an argument for the other way and keeping them as two pieces as well. First of which, that would mean that either you would have to have a larger unit to fit everything in, or you would have to sacrifice. You might have to sacrifice some functionality, or more importantly, you would probably have to sacrifice the power and quality of the motor in order to fit everything into a smaller package. So I could see why they would go with two parts. Also, the way that Redrock Micro has designed this system, the microRemote base station really is a brain that is expandable to all sorts of accessories. They have not only the motor and the finger wheel and run can start and stop, but they have stuff coming out like their Halo auto-focusing system. So all these things connect to that main central brain, so it kind of makes sense to keep it as its own individual unit. Again, this is something that you might want to be aware of. If you're looking for a more compact system, you might want to look for something that has everything integrated into a single unit, but keep in mind, it might be nowhere near as full-featured as this system is. And finally, one of the things that is a bit of a concern, but again, probably not, is the methods of powering this system. Currently, it does require professional power inputs. You're looking at P-tap or running it from the power pack, which runs off of another P-tap. So you need to have some sort of professional rig where you're going to have either a V-mount or an Anton Bauer gold mount battery that is powering your system, or have something like a gimbal like the DJI Ronin, where you have a P-tap or D-tap, as they're interchangeable, that you can plug into. This is not something like some of the cheaper units where you can pop just a Canon LP-E6 battery on the back of it and run it. This is something that requires professional power. You need the voltage, and you need to make sure that you can supply it from a professional source. So if you're not in possession of these types of batteries, or you don't have a setup where you're using that kind of professional connection, this may not be the system for you. But it may be time to start looking into a system like this and look into moving into some of those higher end professional power systems so that you can power this and the rest of your equipment. So overall, guys, I am extremely pleased with the Redrock microRemote system. I've only been testing it. I've had it for about a month. I did have the opportunity to use it on a short film, and we used it with my gimbal. I've been running various tests. I've been setting it up in different configurations, and I've been shooting some videos about the different components. And I've just been pleased all around. It has delivered everything that I expected it to, and I think it'll do the same for you. If you're looking for a full-featured, expandable, modular follow focus system, this really is the system that I think you should look at, especially because of the price range and the reliability. This is a system that I'm definitely interested in adding to my own permanent kit and utilizing full time. I can see plenty of times when I would get a lot of use out of this, and I have been desperately in need of a wireless follow focus system. So guys, I hope this review helps you out. If you'd like any more additional information on these Redrock Micro products, please go and check out Redrock Micro's website. They've got everything you need there. I'm sure they'll be able to help you out with any additional questions. And if you like this channel, guys, please go ahead and subscribe so I can keep bringing more great content and reviews like this as often as possible.